Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is February the 11th, 2025. This is episode 52. And tomorrow I have the Mama Bears Project, which is episode 50. They've got switched, but they have the same number. My guest tonight is a candidate for New Blue for Niagara Region, which is ours. And we're going to talk about the platform and meet the man, Gary Dumelie. Sorry, Gary. And we're going to find out more about the candidate so you can know and have an informed choice when you vote on the 27th. And we're going to do that right after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Truth Table. I'm Paul Everton, the host here, and I'm very grateful to have a guest who's running for the New Blue Party in Niagara Falls. Everyone, this is Gary Dumelie. Thanks for coming on, Gary.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for inviting me here.
Well, people really, they have so many, there's 26 registered parties, so it's very complex, complicated. So a lot of people just go to, liberals or conservatives, but they don't understand that the liberals are progressive, the conservatives are progressive. So there's not a lot of difference. There's just a left wing and the right wing of the same bird. Whereas you come from a unique place because the New Blue Party used to be conservative until they lost their way and basically left their platform.
You mean the PC party? Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
the PC. Yeah, the PC, same, but they did that federally as well. It's like they've been usurped. But it's brave to start a new party, and it takes courage. It really does, because we're dealing with funded parties that will attack you. They'll search through your your posts for 20 years if they can find any dirt on you, and they're relentless. They have the funds to pay people to do that. So it's a real battlefield, and you don't come from a battlefield place. But what inspired you to get into politics?
Well, I guess I've been with the Freedom Group people. Because of all these lockdowns and the mandates and the school system the way it's been. I've been
Yep.
dealing with all this for a long time. And I'm thinking the only way we're ever going to solve this is to get somebody in Parliament or into the government to find solutions to stop all this. That's why.
Yes. Now I know the NDP leader. They've got a stronghold here in Niagara, Wayne Gates, and I've met him at least, I'd say about 30 years ago, maybe 20, 30 years. And he's been in my house and we've talked. But when they brought the critical race theory, the Bill 67, it was only Belinda Carahalios is the only person that voted against it. And this gave police powers to the bureaucrats over the students, for wrong think. And Belinda is the only person that stood up. I mean, she was ejected from the PC party for standing up for us, which is what you are doing right now. So you're kind of um, born. New Blue is born out of conservatism, but real conservatism. And Jim is the leader, and Belinda is the co-founder. So I really believe in your cause and your party. And I know you've got quite a battle against Wayne because he's got a stronghold here. But people need to understand his party voted for the critical race theory, and they need to understand that's an attack on your children. And as nice a guy as he is, his party did that, and we need to understand that moving forward and stop voting for this guy.
Yeah, we have to start realizing that. And how I looked at it is this: in most of the majorities of these areas, like I did last time I ran, there's only about 40% of the people vote. When you get 40% of the people voting, and they own these parties that are in there now, they own the majority of the people there already. These are people that vote same people over and over and over again. And that's why we have trouble getting them out. It's not because the system's bad. It's because people have to get out there and start voting. That's that's the only way it's going to work, and that's what democracy is all about. I say, take the parties. I'm not even saying vote for me. I'm saying get out there and vote. If that percentage went up to 60 to 80%, there's no doubt in my mind that I have a real good chance of getting in, or somebody that's conservative would get in. But these people, they control the system because we do not go out and vote.
Yeah. Well, people have lost faith, and they're counting on it. They do have Dominion voting machines that can probably be hacked, so that's an issue as well. And they have their three people that always keep winning all the time, and they still don't, like, they forget. Like in 10 years, they're gonna forget what Justin Trudeau did.
You're right, very
And
much so.
but I think
I,
that's part of the poison in they're hurting our memory. So a lot of it's in the food, in the water, the fluoride. Niagara doesn't have fluoride in the water, but there's other things in the water that shouldn't be there. So let's get back to New Blue. What about New Blue compelled you to that particular party?
well, like I said, I was working a lot with these freedom groups, and we battling away. And I realizing that we're not getting anywhere lots of times because they don't really listen to us. So I looked at the New Blue, and I met Jim Carrialius, and I seen a man with integrity, a man that you can read right through. He's honest, and in these works, he wants to save Canada, and he wants to save Ontario, and he needs people to stand up and work with him. But their whole platform, if you look at their platform, it's really neat because I sit there, and if you see the Canadian Bill of Rights in the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedom, their whole thing is based on that, and it's really beautiful. Look at if you start reading on that the what is it the first part, the principles, the New Blue principles: accountability, transparency, integrity. And it says equality before law with the supremacy of natural law. It's based right on there, and their policies, their policies go right in hand with their principles, and that's why I love them so much, because I I've been there. I was help forming their policies, and I was totally in agreement with them. You'd have if you go on site, you can get them all. I can go through the odd ones if you wish, but they're there, and basically what we look for.
The website is right below in the ticker if anybody wants to check out the platform. See, that's also a great thing that the candidates participated in the platform, in the creation. And that's important too. But my guest on Sunday is here, and he's worried about the flag in the courtrooms because to bind the judiciary. So they've taken the flag out of the courtrooms. And that's an issue that people don't really understand about
What
the courtrooms.
the
But he's
Canadian flag, they take it out?
Yep, they removed it.
Well, they have no right to, they're afraid of the Canadian flag because the Canadian flag is still based on our charter of rights, and that if you look at that, you'll see the Canadian flag stands for it. To say, well, they sing the song "Glorious and Free," God keep our land, and it's based. The first thing on it comes up and it talks about our principles are based on the supremacy, on the recognition of the supremacy of God and the rule of law. And
Yep.
they're trying to take that out, and we have to bring that back. That's our whole heritage. And once we bring that back, we will. And the flag, that's what it represents. We stand up and we stand on guard for they don't want people to stand up. And they don't want people on guard.
No, they want us to be pacified and and passive and apathetic. That's what they want.
That's right.
They want us to vote for the top three. That's all they care about.
Yeah, people come to me and say, "Oh, you can't win." And I says, "No, I can't win unless you people vote. When you people vote, then I can win." But if people come up with the attitude saying, you can't win, it's not me. I'm trying hard enough. It's not me. It's not New Blue. It's them. They have to realize they have full control. They don't have to live in fear. They can live in peace, and they don't have to go into despair. They can have lots of hope, and that's what I bring.
Yeah, I would agree. I had Rob on yesterday, but I asked him this question. Would the New Blue Party retaliate by pulling all American liquor off the liquor store shelves?
Well, I heard these things in that, and I kind of laugh. It's like because I've worked
in childish.
I worked in companies. I worked in big businesses and that, and I worked with owners, and I worked with the people that put the money in, and I worked with management. I worked with all these people, and I kind of know how these business people think, and they look and they try to get the upper hand on it. That's how they make good business. They take the upper hand, and when they see weakness like that's displayed by these people, like they look like little kids. I'm going to tear up this. I'm going to do this. And if you want to deal with business, you negotiate.
Yeah, it's very childish. It's not what he did was like a girlfriend breaking up with a girl and she destroys your apartment. It's irresponsible because Americans are our friends, our neighbors, and that is very childish and really not statesman, very unstatesman-like, to take their shelves, to remove. Even tariffs only hurt us. If they put tariffs on American goods, that's going to make it more expensive for us. It's not going to hurt America. It may hurt their exports a little bit because the sales may go down, but it really is an attack on us. So tariffs are our government attacking us, making things more expensive. Not as if they're not expensive enough already. But people need to know this isn't going to hurt Trump by pulling liquor off the shelves. It does nothing. That's a
Yeah.
personal choice. People want to be retaliatory. They can not buy American goods, but I don't know anyone like that. I
Yeah.
think most people that I know have a problem with our own government right here. Trump is in a different situation, different country, and they have to deal with their situation and their leaders there. It's none of our business. And he had a good reason to want tariffs because we have fentanyl and illegal immigrants flooding into his country and our country. Would the new blue close that door? Will they at least manage the immigration to a responsible level?
I believe because that's a federal issue, but they do
Yeah,
have
that's
we do have ways of, like Quebec has ways of limiting the immigration into Quebec. We can also do that too, and that's on the policy about doing that on immigration.
mm-hmm.
Yes, I think even if we could just get rid of all the illegal immigrations in the province to start with, have a crackdown on the illegal immigrations, have a crackdown on all these drugs. That's what is kind of fueling all this with the immigrations and that. It's fueling everything. It's killing our people. We don't even say much about how it's affecting the states. How much is it affecting us?
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is go down to Vancouver and look in the I don't know what's east side they say. Look in there. Look at how the people are there. It looks like a third world country. They brought it to us.
Mm-hmm. Would a new blue government, if you were to have majority, would you get rid of Bill's 67? Would you at least try to get rid of these bills that infringe? Because you have power over the education.
Most definitely, we would get rid of everything in this on these education things. What I would, yes, I believe that we would definitely solve that problem with the education. We had things on the education there. I know what you're saying. Bill 67. Trouble is with me. I have to admit, and I will admit, because I'm very much green at this. And when somebody gives me like Bill 67, I know exactly that it's not exactly what it is. So yes, what is that one about now? I can't.
That's a critical race theory.
Oh yeah, yes, that's right. Definitely, we're going to get rid of that. That's right.
See, and this is something that people need to know before they go to the polls. They need to know what the new blue will do, what the mandate is, what their platform is, who the people are, because they can find you on Facebook. If they're in the region, they can add you as a friend and they can see what you post and learn about who you are and know that you're approachable and they can ask you questions and that you're there for them. I mean, Wayne does the same thing, but he's still a socialist. As much as I like him, he's on the wrong side of history.
Right.
Maybe one-on-one he's a great guy, but politically he's not a good guy. He's a Jagmeet Singh.
Yeah.
Like it or not, that's who he is. That's who he represents. And it's a shame that he's so likable because, I consider him a friend, but I also politically see him as an enemy to the future of our children. This critical race theory came from the NDP. So
Wow.
his stronghold has to end. Niagara has to wake up to that, like him or not.
Yeah, I've been down to the school board meetings and stuff like that. We've been trying. It it's really unbelievable how they treat the people, how they treat the parents. They won't let them talk. They won't let them bring up. They sit in this little board meeting and they pat each other on the back and say, "Look what we did. We gotta educate the parents more about this uh, critical race stuff." And we sit there and you think, well, we're wrong. Let's talk about it. No, you can't talk about it. We're just dictating. Where's the parents' accountability, or where's their accountability to the parents? Parents have the first rights to it, and that's what we stand for. Give the parents back their power.
Well, Cleo's posting a question here, a comment. Cleo, I have to get you on the show, okay? So just make a note of that. Message me. We're going to get you on, all right? And so you can talk about the PPC. I want to get as many people on, but I'm not going to invite Doug Ford. He would never be invited on my show because I want the truth. This is called the truth table. And if someone lies to you, he said he was going to get rid of, the gender pronouns and all this ridiculous ideology. And he didn't. He lied to us. Plus, he loved the Emergency Act. He loved making millions off of this directional stickers that were saving our lives in grocery stores. But he showed who he was, and he
reminds me of fish on dry land. It's just, what do you want to hear? What do you want to see? Oh, it's election time. Let's push this out. Oh, okay, I'm in. All right, now I can do what this. Yeah, I was very angry at him, right? Because when they first go in, when he first was going in, and all the promises he made, I says, okay, I want this guy. So I voted for him, and I regretted it ever since.
Yeah. Well, I'm voting for you. I'm in Niagara, so I want you to win. I believe in your platform. I believe in you as a person. We've met before. I don't know if you remember, but I've been at Peter's many times, and so I know Peter very well, and he's an amazing father, friend, husband. He's just all around great super guy and determined. Very determined. He hasn't given up, and he's, he tries to make you.
I blame him. He's the one that told me to get in here. So if you want me, why I'm here, talk to him. He told me to do it.
So he's to blame if anything goes wrong.
Yeah.
Well, at least we have a name, right? No, that would be amazing if you got a seat. That would help so much because your voice needs to be in the legislature.
Yeah, it's not me. It's not me.
No. I know what you mean.
It's the people.
Party. Yeah,
it's the people behind me that I stand for. And if they want a voice, and they want something, they want to yell into the some voice in there, they have to get me in, because then I'll stand behind them while you listen to them. I'm not smart enough to do it by myself. Well, never will be. So I need them anyway. So
yeah, for sure. So the writing status so far, you've got. Let's take a look. Oh my God! It's since yesterday. It was 97. Now, look at this. This is very exciting. 105 seats.
Yeah.
So you jumped from 97 to 105. Huh? Congratulations. That's amazing. But yeah, Peter tried, they've asked me to run too, but I just don't like politics. I ran as a libertarian and I was crushed. I think because I'm a musician, I'm just too sensitive for this kind of work. I don't have the strength that's required, because you need hard skin to be able to do this. You have to be strong, because they come after you and they came after me real good, even as a libertarian. But I mean, I was nominated to be leader. So, I mean, as soon as that happened, that's when all hell broke loose, eh? Because I got nominated for like 5 executive positions. So I was doing very well. But I'm also going to have libertarian guests, friends from the party. We're going to get them on there. Um, but, we all have our place. This is my place. Writing music, interviewing people, because this is very important for Ontario right now. We have an opportunity to save this province. And it's going to be hard because Ottawa's in this province. And Ottawa has a lot of pull and power here. So it's not going to be easy to free ourselves.
Yeah, it's going to be hard, and I know it's going to be difficult. But I believe if we keep working away at it, then we will do it. We will manage it. I think a person said to me the other day, which was really neat. I love the way he said it. He said, "We already won. We took this corruption that's in the government, we grabbed it and we flipped it upside down, and all this corruption is showing, and people are seeing it, and it's starting to eat itself away, and they're all scattering like rats off of a ship. There, they're just the way it is going. I believe it is starting. I believe it'll show."
I do like what Elon's doing because USAID has been funding our universities. So they're pushing their ideology in Canadian schools using psychological, I can't remember the psychological warfare, basically, to weaponize Canadian children coming out of university. And we've seen it. We've seen it with Peterson.
Yeah, Jordan
Peterson revealed that the weaponization, how they were just in his face and yelling and screaming. But
believe it or not, I've seen a little of this. Right, even when I went to UB, I've seen how the professors were manipulating the students, and that it's been all the way through. My children went through it, but my children now, they all went homeschool. So I was out of touch of the school, and I didn't realize how bad it was until I went to the school board meeting, and then I realized just how bad it is. I believe this Ontario government can fix that school up real easy. Just have to do it. Make the ones that are in there accountable, and accountable to the parents. That's how you have to do it. Because I watch them, and you'd say, "Well, how did you come to this?" "Oh, we sent out a poll," and the parents are there. "Well, where did you send the poll?" "Oh, we sent them out to the parents." I said, "Well, we didn't get it." "Oh, maybe you missed a few." And I'm thinking, come on. That's how they work.
Mm-hmm. Well, with Peter, he has strong faith, and I think that's where he probably gets his strength. My guess, that's where I get my strength. But politics is just not my thing. It's not something I can do. And I tried, but it's but doing this is fine for me. I have no problem. Because I only have shows about issues that I, feel compelled, that come from my heart, and this is a very important time for Ontario, and that means everyone I know, basically, including you and Peter and all our friends. This is a pivotal moment where, Trump is actually helping us by revealing things, that's been happening under the table, under the radar to Canadians.
Okay.
So
Well,
so I want everyone to understand what the New Blue is, what they're about, what they will do. They need to know that critical race theory is on the table to be knocked off the table.
that's
That's
right.
important to every parent out there. And thank you, Kirk, for coming on. Kirk has been on the show many times. I lost count, maybe like 5 times. But he's a whistleblower for was a ranger, a Canadian ranger, and he found corruption all the way up to Trudeau. So they went after him and just won't touch him because he's a hot potato, eh? But he's an important potato because he's also a part of the truth and transparency. Now, New Blue, will they promise to be transparent and put everything out there? You know, kind of like what Elon is doing. He's being transparent. He's showing what's being spent on, because you could do a lot of cleanup that way. If you show the people, then they will know. And if you're honest, you're going to keep your mandate. And New Blue will only get bigger and stronger. And you know that's what we could that could be something we could look forward to in Ontario. You know.
well, I know that I'll make mistakes, and I know they'll have things to come at me, but I'm not afraid. I don't care. I've never worried about it in my life. I've had people come at me at all places. I don't
Well,
worry.
the provinces have a lot of power. They really do.
Yeah.
And we need to get rid of the Dominion voting machines. We need paper ballots that can be recounted, and that will be an honest, transparent election. We don't have that right now. So that's my fear. You
Well,
could win,
they
and
won't.
no one would know.
Yeah, we want to get rid of that voting machine. I've worked computers all my life, and I understand how computers work, and I understand how easy it is to hack into these things and stuff like that. Uh, are they trustworthy or are they not? It's, to me, there's different ways you can go about it. They want to get rid of the New Blue says we get rid of it altogether, which is probably the best way. But there's other ways you can do it. You can say, all right, we'll have the voting machine, and they take it at the end after the election and say, okay, we'll take these and we'll do a count by hand, and say, all right, let's check these out. Even if it was checked, at least you have assurance
Yeah.
that it was done right. But they don't do that. They burn it. They destroy it.
Yeah.
And that's just definitely wrong. That's
Destroy the evidence.
Yeah, we sold ourselves out to the computers. We say,
Yep.
well, we'll let computers run our life. And you see
Yep.
it all over the place. We got to
Yep.
stop that.
The polls are the same. They're very skewed.
Oh, yeah,
I've
the polls,
yeah,
I
I've
don't even listen to the polls because polls are not there to give you the truth. The polls are there to sway the people.
and it does. It works. It's
Yes.
a manipulation. It's a psychological manipulation, and it's got to end. Absolutely. With the New Blue, put the Canadian. Make sure only the Canadian and Ontario flags are on government buildings and schools and courtrooms.
The Canadian flag or the Ontario flag, and it would be there. Or if it's a private school, if they want to put in, say, if it's a
Pride flag.
school, they want to put in a Catholic thing like the
Yeah,
Sacred
sure.
Heart or something like that. I can understand that, but definitely not the pride flag.
Okay. Well, I was trying to allude to that, but yeah, good. How about what do you call that? The oh no, the reading hours. Did you get rid of the
The books.
No, yeah, well, yeah, the books, yes.
Yeah, we gotta purge all these books out of the schools and the libraries. In the libraries too. Libraries are terrible. We gotta clean them up.
Yeah, I would agree because they can be picked up by anyone. Was it the oh man, like I can't remember. The drag queen reading hour. Would you remove that from the schools?
Oh, of course. But, I mean, there's no place for that in schools. That's just indoctrination.
It's so ugly, isn't it? And it's fine if they want to have a club that does that. It is an adult situation. It's not appropriate for children. And it is indoctrinating the children. It's normalizing a very unnormal situation.
Well,
So,
I look at things this way. We got a Bill of Rights, and this is what people don't understand when they say they're stomping on my rights. And I sit there and I say,
mm,
okay, what is your right? Where do your rights come from? When we look at the Bill of Rights and the Charter of Rights, we know that they come from God. The first very basic rights come from God. It says there because of the supremacy of God. So we say we have to recognize that. And the reason why we have to recognize that is because if it comes from God, God is the only one that can take those away. So our rights, so the basic rights come from God, and no man can take that away. And when the government comes up and starts taking it away, that's when you get communism, because communism takes God out, so they can do that.
mhm.
So that's the number one. Then you get your federal's got its rights, as long as it doesn't interfere with these common rights. You got your provincial has rights that it can't interfere with the federal or the natural right. And then there you got these groups. Now these groups, they can have their rights amongst their group, but you can't force their rights on the rights of the Canadians or the rights of the province, or if it goes against any of the natural laws and the natural rights in the provincial, it can't be done. And that's where people got to recognize that that's what's happening.
So you would also agree to put the flags back in the courtrooms.
Oh yes, yes. The Canadian flag is our flag.
But you're right. We have, like Salgave said, we have inherent rights, but freedoms have to be negotiated, right?
Well, the freedom is but a generation away. When we give our freedoms up, we have to win them back again. But freedom is something that we have to keep standing up for to keep.
Right, right. And that's really what the new blue is all about: is restoring what we lost for the most part. And a lot of my friends are running, even in different parties, but um, the basic premise is the same with all of them. They all care about their country. They feel like it was usurped, and I really believe that it's been usurped. The Dominion voting machines can usurp. You could win, and that could be stolen from you because they
Yes,
destroy the evidence. So I
yes,
mean, who destroys evidence but someone cheating, right?
yeah.
So I feel like we may have already lost everything because
No, we're winning. We'll get it. We just gotta. If enough people stand up and
mhm,
enough people realize, I say vote like your freedom depends on it, because it does.
it does, and that's why I'm doing this show. So people can understand the platform, what would happen, and because and I want to talk about the most important things that matter to people, like the school, like the critical race theory that the NDP brought in. Not people in Niagara Falls need to understand that they've been voting for Wayne Gates forever, and his party did that. They need to understand that. And it's very important that he's a part of that. As nice as he is, it's still a big problem.
It
You
is a
don't,
very big problem.
because we don't want the bureaucrats to have police like powers over children.
You know, no, the children belong to the parents, not to the government.
Mm-hmm.
Only in a communist country does the that they own the people, and that's what communism believes in. I don't believe in that.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything about the new blue platform that appeals to you the most?
Oh, what appeals to me the most is what I stand for the most, because our freedoms and our rights depend on a very, very basic thing, and that's life. And if we don't have that right to life, you've got a hole in your charter, you got a hole in all your laws, your country will crumble. You have to have that there. And life is given by God, and only God can take life away. So I say I'm very pro-life. I run pro-life. I have people saying you'll never win that way. I say doesn't matter if people don't believe in it. We're lost already. You have to believe that life is the very basics of our thing there, and that's
Yeah,
my favorite in here. I know it's a federal issue, but it's really not. It's a people's issue.
it is.
It's a
It
people.
is.
You have to educate the people. If you, I believe we have a law already. The law says you can't kill. You can't kill somebody. Now, whoever decided that this wasn't somebody? That's the problem.
Yeah, well, it's a commandment, but made violates the commandment. As soon as Trudeau came in, he made bestiality legal. That's in the Bible. Not to
He
do
made,
that. It's
made
pretty
what?
specific.
Oh yes, he's.
Bestiality. He
Yeah,
did that right away. Like
I didn't
his
know
first
that.
day in office, for God's sakes.
He's,
I mean, that's disgusting. You know, and legalizing marijuana, but he made the government take over it and make it GMO, and so they altered it, and you know what I mean.
yeah,
Kathleen Wynne talked openly about lowering the strength of it, but really they're genetically modifying it and selling it. There became the dope dealer because they were sick of not making money off it. So yeah, it's all been a manipulation, and they want the children younger and younger. So Kathleen Wynne, started the preschool,
yeah.
and they did that long ago when they made things so expensive that both people have to work.
What they have in the new blue, and I believe in it too. I believe this is one of the things in the schools. They want to make it mandatory that they learn what communism is all about, and I say that should be mandatory in our schools. And I also believe they should be mandatory that we learn about this charter. And I think that if we learn about the charter and we learn what communism is, we would recognize what's coming in. We would recognize what this is all about, and we would be able to avert it before it comes in.
Well, I mean, he also, is a front man in the Pride Parade,
Yeah, well, that there is
And
that
pride is a sin. It's
corrupt.
right in the Bible too that it's a sin.
Yeah,
It's just, but
corruption.
even like murder, like you were talking about earlier, there's made. So you
Yeah,
can kill yourself. So he's dooming people by killing them, letting them kill themselves, even for depression. So like children that have, have changed their sex, they're allowed to get made because of the absolutely destroying of their future, never being able to parent a child or conceive, and but it also removes pleasure. So these children are being destroyed at a very young age without parental consent. All 338 in Parliament voted for this, with that kids could do this without parental rights. So we have been usurped. That's all of them in there. That means the Bloc, the NDP, the Liberals, the Conservative, the Green Party, every single one of them voted for this.
Yes.
So
How can we say that we have anybody in there that's not bought? That's
Yeah.
almost seems like it seems that way. I
Yep.
I not usually attacking people personally, and that's I don't really like trying to do that. But I say that we have to have people with integrity, people
Mhm.
with uh, honesty, that you can see what's going on, and in transparency.
Yeah.
That's what I believe we have to get in there so that the people can see. What you hear on a lot of these things you hear on the news in a lot of different ways, it brings fear and depression to people. I hear it all. I see people getting into the depressed mode, but that is a manipulation too that they use. We don't have to fear them. We don't. I write this down. This is how I say. We are here, and we are not leaving, and we will not be intimidated. And that's what we have to stand up and say. We will not be intimidated. You can throw at us, right? If that's all you got, give it your best shot. We'll fight them.
Yeah. Well, we can't give up
Never.
because the kingdom of heaven is within us, and that's where it can't be observed. The kingdom of heaven can't be observed by the eye because it's inside of us. We have to use that, and that God doesn't give us a spirit of fear.
I think in a way I sit there and I love God, and I trust God immensely. I totally trust Him, and I trust that He's in charge. But
Mhm.
how I look at it is, I think God puts me in a spot like this because He takes the weakest and puts them in there, and the one that's the most unlikely, and He says, "Here, I'll put this person in," because that way there it shows it's not me, it's God that's going to be behind all this and doing it. So that's how I feel. I'll I'll do the best I can, but I still have to trust all in God because
Mhm.
I'm a very, I'm just what I am.
Well, I mean, I want to keep politics and religion separate, but I do want our politicians to at least have faith, and you know what I mean. I still want them separate, but I don't, because that can be radical too.
I
Jim,
agree. We
Jim
can't.
Jones was religious.
We can't. We can't. I can't sit there and push my faith on anybody. I will never intend to. I mean, I don't. I never said to somebody, "Oh, you're wrong in your faith," or "You're this, you're that." No, we can't do that. But we can't. We can say, "Hey, I believe." That's that is our free speech, our free right. We have a freedom of religion, but we can't.
Hmm.
We don't have the right. Like I say, your group is your group. You can't take your group rights and shove them on other people. And then you have your faith, you have your religion, but I'm not forcing it on anybody.
Yeah, we definitely don't want like a preacher politician. We do want, the thing about faith and believers is, they'll generally have more integrity. They won't be hiding. They won't have secret meetings. They will be transparent, and that's what we want. We want, when you don't have that, then you have Justin Trudeau making it legal to have sex with animals. I mean, why would that even cross someone's mind to make that legal? I mean, you could decriminalize it, but why? But making it legal puts it right out front, flashing lights. Oh, you can do this now. You know what I mean? Instead of just decriminalizing it, he had to make a spectacle of it by putting it up front and out forward. And also, it's totally against the Bible. You're not even supposed to mix seeds in the garden. Have your tomatoes over here and your green peppers over there. You keep them separate. You
Well,
know, like linen and wool, you're supposed to keep it separate. And I have a show on linen and wool. And it never made sense to me because it's in Deuteronomy and Leviticus. It's mentioned twice not to mix linen and wool. And it didn't make any sense to me until I found a doctor or a researcher, a scientist, who measured the frequency of clothing and plants and people. Like a dead human or a really sick human measures at 15 megahertz. Silk, rayon, polyester are all 15.
Hmm.
And the body, a healthy body, is 100 megahertz. So you wear silk, you're going to lower your frequency of your body. The only thing that matches our body is organic cotton. It's 100 megahertz. But linen is 5,000 megahertz. And wool, 5,000 megahertz. Both of them. They're the only two that are 5,000, but you can't wear them together. It's like a positive and negative. You wear them together and you have 0 megahertz. So that science brought that Bible right to life. And I went, wow, that's why it's in there. Because it goes to 0 when you mix them. But if you wear all linen, like in ancient days, the men had, linen, a one piece, kind of almost like a dress, but a tunic. It would be all linen. That way you've got 5,000 megahertz in your clothes, just raising up your frequency. So the Bible, see, it didn't make any sense until I did my own research. Then it became very exciting. And I'd love to do that. And that's where the Truth Table was born, basically. I thought, this is so important. It may sound silly, but it's very important to me that people understand. Buy linen, get 100% linen, do it. Wear all linen and go barefoot out in the grass and just see what happens.
Yeah, well,
but it's expensive, but it's good to know, because then we can use our dollar to make it happen. People can grow flax seeds. It's a beautiful blue plant. And you can tell I like blue. But sorry, I got off topic. I tend to do that because I get excited, eh?
Yeah, these things, like I'm not into a whole lot of these things. I don't down them, and I don't.
That's okay.
But
now you know.
Yeah,
now you have a knowledge that you didn't have before. That's kind of intriguing.
Yeah,
because it's the power of our clothing. See how the war against us was, it'll be half the price if you add polyester. They manipulated the clothing industry to weaken us. They did that with music. Music was 432 megahertz. And now they've changed it to 440 megahertz. So it can no longer heal and bless. And they did that in 1950. So our entire lives, we've never heard music the way it was supposed to be, except the background music in my podcast, 432 hertz.
Oh yeah, okay.
So it can bless.
Well, I know music. I have always talked about music as being the how I put it is, music is the language of your soul.
Yeah.
Because once you hear music, you can say that, because you can hear a song when you're about 2 years or even 5 years old, and somebody can start whistling that thing when you're 75, and you'll know it. And anywhere else would anything fit into you for that long? Once you've dealt with me, that's why I was so against a lot of this. I mean, it's only a personal thing, but I say a lot of these music that they put out there, that it does affect your being. It brings you down from a higher level to a lower level. We don't realize it, but it does.
Yeah. Shelley, you made me laugh. She's right. I'm not wearing linen or wool. I'm like 15%. I'm like low frequency. But I mean, it is expensive. And I do have an outfit that's all It's only for summer though. It's shorts and oh no, I have pants. That's right, and a shirt. But it's more summer clothing because it's the wind goes right through it. So it's. But I did buy a complete linen outfit for the winter. I'll need a full wool outfit, but it's really a financial reason why I'm not wearing polyester and my clothing right now. But it is still fascinating to me when we find out these little secrets and these, how they did it to us. Because if you look 100 years ago, look at the cathedrals, look at the world fairs, look at the buildings they made in 2 months. They created these fortresses and, golden statues. This is what was stolen from us. This is our potential. The history shows what we were. And they've used food, the frequency of music, clothing, water, fluoride. They've used everything in their power to bring us down because we were too powerful. They didn't like it. And I want that back. And a new blue is the right direction. It is a direction where we can start getting things back because we can talk about it. We don't have to agree on everything. But as long as we're talking about it, we have open dialogue, that's where things can happen.
And that's how I used to work. I worked in business a lot, and they always relied on me to find the problem and solve the solution in businesses. That was my job, and I would make machines work like at Atlas when they started that up again. They thought it would take about 5-6 years to get it up and going, or in millions of dollars, and I got it by talking to the people, talking to the owners, I kind of worked with all of them, and I came up with a solution. We got that up and running in 6 months, and that was how we did it. It's not, and I don't say it's me. I'm saying we work together. I try to get the people to work together and figure out the problems. And that's how we do everything. So if I get in, and I should say when I get in, I'm going to do the same thing. People come to me, and I want them to give me all the facts that they have, and I'll use what I got, and I'll study it, because I know for a fact we get our information from different sources and everything else like that, like the internet and news and that. Well, you got to remember, good majority of that is guesswork, and people think that that's all true, but it really, a good lot of it has been falsely given to us, and just to control us. So we sit there and we got to go and take what you have, go and learn what it really is, study it all out, and then work it together, then come up with a solution. That's why I hesitate a little bit to say this is the answer, because when I get in, they'll say, "Oh, you didn't follow through," and I'll say, "Well, no, I say this is what I see as an immediate answer, but in the long run, we gotta root out the root cause of these things, and that's how we gotta work."
Yeah, if you get a mandate, there's so much to do, because everything that has been done, like the critical race theory, has to be undone.
Yeah, that's right.
And you've got a battle from the school boards and
well, some of the funniest things I read in the laws, and they come along and they'll say, "Oh, you have this right, and this includes this person, includes this person, includes this person, includes this person." And every time I see that include, I say, "That's not right." You see, when you have a right for Canadians, and it's the right for Canadians. You don't include this person, that, because every time you include somebody, you're excluding somebody else. So you have to say, no, it's a Canadian right. And we got to stop all this include. I believe, anyways, and they keep adding these inclusive things in there, and it's actually exclusive. That's what it does.
So you know the Mama Bears project. You know the girls from there,
I
Pat and
I
Barb.
I've I've been with them and talking to them. I know they deal with well they
Parents.
I work
Yeah,
with the homeschooling and that too.
yeah, yeah. They're on tomorrow night, so everybody wants to watch that one too, because they're really fighting for the parents.
Yes.
Outside of the Doug Ford government, you know, there's not much. I mean, you have to follow the rules, but homeschooling's. I don't think that's illegal. I
Oh no,
think
homeschooling's legal. It's very legal.
I think it's the only way to protect your children. They can vaccinate your child even if you say not to, right in the classroom. They've locked the doors in the schools, so they've got 100% dominant control over your children to abuse them, to to yell and scream at them if they like. I've seen it. It happens. I had a lot of good teachers too, but since the woke ideology started, it started getting worse and worse and worse. With Kathleen Wynne, it was just terrible. That's where it really grew.
It's
With
it's it's in the school, and it's in the school a lot, and they're weaponizing our children. I know that they're putting a split between the children and the parents,
yes,
and that's a communistic
yeah,
style.
but
It's
that's also biblical. Child
yeah,
against father, father against
yes.
son. So they are fulfilling the Bible, the Revelations. They're right in there. Even bestiality is, it's all a part of it. Pride, the pride portray, that's also a sin. So they're like dooming Canadians without them really realizing, thinking that they're just being progressive, and
Yeah.
facilitating. But we're talking about, the trans community. We're talking about 0.0004. I mean, it's so few, and that number is growing because of the indoctrination in the schools.
Well, all of that stuff. It sounds. I sit there and I say, the trans and LGBTQ or whatever the ones they have, and they're groups, and there's a lot of different other ones too. They're groups. It's not up to the government to take any one group and have it override all the other everybody else. Doesn't
Right.
matter what
Yeah.
group it is. So we have to have we got to take this, like it even comes into accountability in that when we sit there, everybody wants the government, and I'll tell you right now, it's not the government that's going to save us. The best thing the government can do is get out of everybody's face.
Yes,
Keep telling them what they can
it's
do and what
true.
they can't do. If
It's
the government
true.
did
And
that,
giving, and they're trying to buy people right now. Bonnie Crombie's, offering double to disability people, over 2 years. So,
well,
but I
yeah.
mean,
By
if
the way, I thank Doug Ford for the $200 he gave me
yeah,
back on that rebate. It went really good to my campaign. Thank you, Doug Ford.
yeah, yeah. So they're trying to buy people. This is what Justin did. He tried to buy people by
Uh,
legalizing marijuana. But I
uh,
mean, he's a protected class. They'll protect him because he did what they wanted. Whoever his puppeteers are, I don't know who they are, but um,
well, you see it all through the government. Like
yeah,
like NDP, where does the NDP get most of its funding from?
yeah,
It,
well,
it gets a lot of it from unions. That bothered the heck out of me when I was at work, and they made me pay to work, be able to work. I get in there, and I had no say because they had all their meetings on Sunday at church time, which is to me is like they just kind of ignored me. I got angry at them. But then the worst part is they put money and threw it to the NDP. And I says, how can you do that? That's my money. Where are you taking that and putting it into a party that I don't agree with?
yeah.
But
Well, I see Bonnie Crombie's ads are all over the place, and they're non-party status, so they have no funding now. But where are they getting all their money?
I don't know. Well,
My guess would be the federal liberals,
could be the federal.
but yeah,
It,
and she's, because they know buying people off worked with Justin. It's not just them. I think the NDP is trying to buy people too. Or yeah, NDP's got a scam going too.
yeah. By the way, I have to mention that we, being the party we are, we don't have the money and the funds. People ask us, why aren't you up more? Why isn't there more signs? Why isn't there? I'll tell you why. Because we rely on the people. We rely on all the people out there. And if you really want the freedom back and you really want us in, you have to throw some money in there, because the other parties, they get, well, where do they get it? They get it from political party subsidy. They get money back. They get all kinds of,
USD.
they take it out of your taxes, give it to them, and then
Mhm.
you say, well, why aren't you like them? Because we don't have that money. No,
Well,
we
I mean,
do.
if USAID is funding our universities, they may be funding our parties too. But we'll see. I mean, Elon may expose that as well, hopefully, and then we'll get
Hopefully.
because everything he's doing is hopefully waking Canadians up to what's been going on here the last couple of decades. We've really been in a war, but incremental. It's been slow. One thing
Well,
after another.
the states need us, and we need the states.
Yep.
There's two countries. We don't need to be together. We need to be separate, and we need to be two countries. We keep them in check, and they keep us in check. And
Yeah.
that's how it's got to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. So, anything about the New Blue Party that you think people need to know that they may not?
Well, the main thing is they need support. They need people out there voting. They need people out there spreading the word, and they need money to help spread the word.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it was Rob you had on yesterday or the other
Yep.
Sunday. Now
Yep.
I listened to him. He's a very great speaker. I really love his speaking. He's an awesome person, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm looking forward to working with all the four candidates in this Niagara region. We're going to work together, and we're going to pull our resources, and we're going to figure these things out, and we're going to straighten the Niagara region out. That's what I see we're going to do.
Well, I did invite Brent Feldman also. I messaged him to come on the show. So we'll see. We've only got a limited time. We've got 16 days, or no, yeah, 16 days left before the election. So I want to get as many of you on as possible, even other parties, because like libertarian and populist, but only the parties that I think would actually make a difference, like the New Blue Party. Parties that I believe in. So there's a little bit of bias in that, but I am going to try to get multiple parties so people can know who their candidates are in the region. You're the only one we got here in Niagara Falls. I don't know who else is running. But like I said, I won't be getting liberals or PCs or NDP on here ever, because I don't like what they've done. And you said, teaching it in school. I do believe in that. I do believe if there's 18 registered parties, I think the classroom should be, the year should be divided in a political course where we talk about every single political party, their platform, but also like the liberals, what they said and what they did, because we have record of what they did to us. So that should be taught in school too.
We should have more of our history, Canadian history,
yes,
brought back instead of
honesty.
of a lot of the things. I don't want to really start going there now, because when I was at that board meeting, when I listened to them and they says, "Oh, we're gonna do this. We're gonna throw out Shakespeare because," and then he's up there and he says, "Oh, I never liked Shakespeare. I never did understand it." I'm thinking, well, that's why you guys do what you do. You don't have enough understanding of what it's all about. But anyway, that's beside the point. We have to we have to bring our culture back into the.
Yes.
We have to teach the kids what is it being a Canadian. What's it all
Mhm.
about?
And we have to allow children to excel. So if a child is highly intelligent, they should be able to go through 3 grades in a year, if possible. They shouldn't be held back. And anyone struggling shouldn't be pushed forward. They should be able to do that grade in 2 years if necessary. Because a lot of our most brilliant minds were terrible at school.
That's funny. I sit there. I remember when I went to school. It was in grade 4. My brother taught me algebra and not calculus, but square root and all that stuff. So in grade 4, I knew how to do all that algebra and everything back then. And I'm thinking we can do this, and we can bring like you say, it all goes by merits, which they took away. We
Mhm.
have to get the merit back. So people get jobs by their merit. They get their grades are important. Important enough that they work hard. Ones that work hard, they they get rewarded more. That's natural.
Yeah. But I would like to see a flexible system where um, if a child is a genius level, most kids um, are rated in genius level before they go to school, but not when they leave school. So I want to keep that. I want to keep that genius level going. So if a child is an overachiever, for God's sakes, let him go, let him run, let him roll. Don't stop him. Don't pull him back because he has a purpose. God gave him a purpose. That's why he's doing it that speed. So we need a flexible education that will accommodate exceptionalism and also not punish someone who's slower, because some of our greatest minds, like I said before, were terrible in school.
You're
So
you're
they
talking
have
like
just to me they have just as much value as the overachiever.
yeah,
you know
you're talking like the homeschooling system. If you look at the homeschooling
Absolutely.
system,
Yeah.
my grandchildren, when they come from homeschooling and they go into a university, they end up with 95, 98% in university, and it's all because they're taught to learn. They're not taught all this other stuff that
Yep.
destroys it.
They're not taught how to think. They're taught to think.
Yeah,
And that's the benefit of homeschooling, because a parent will not teach you what to think. They may, but they will generally teach you to think for yourself.
there is flaws in homeschooling. I gotta
For
admit,
sure.
because
Yeah.
there is people
Yeah.
out there that don't really know how to teach, and they do the
Mhm.
homeschooling. But in general, uh, I found like with my family, it was a positive effect mostly. But
Yeah, I think it's a great idea because the schools won't change for us, no matter if we could pick it out there all day, and they won't change a darn thing. But I mean, all the ideologies, because of all the ideologies they pushed, now I identify as a trans financial, which means I'm a rich man stuck in a poor man's body.
yeah. Well, one of the things what do they have
That was
in
my joke.
school? Yeah,
Trans financial.
my joke was there's a young guy in here that's trying to get out. uh, anyways, yeah, they got things like in education. They want to. They got this alternative tax credit, so that people can start putting their kids into private schools that are going to educate their children better, and they get a tax credit for it, and they're doing merit-based education, and then they do these are a few of the mandates, or the what do you call it? Not, I don't use the word mandate. The Now, mind you, I was a 99%er mathematician, and I was a 30%er English person. So I have troubles with words. But give me a math problem and I'll solve it for you. But anyways, we have this in our policies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're going to stop the woke activism, and we're going to Safe School Act is another one they have in there. I had a school teacher come up and says, we go out there and you put the kids out there, and you can't discipline them. If one's beating up on another one, you can't discipline them. I've got to get that back. Got to get that back.
Yeah, that was a big mistake, but that's part of it too, I think. Taking away discipline is a way to take the child away from the parent for doing, for sparing the rod. But anybody who would like to run, I hope you will. These are the available ridings right now. We've got Willowdale, Toronto, St. Paul, Spadina, Fort York, Scarborough Southwest, Scarborough Rue Park, Scarborough North, Richmond Hill, Ottawa, Vanier, Nipissing, Muskoka, James Bay, Markham, Thornhill, Kingston, and the islands. So there's only 19 left. And that's awesome. That is so great. Brampton East, Davenport, Don Valley East, Eglinton, Etobicoke North, Humber River. So lots of, so I hope to see that number drop within the next week. I hope so. But it has dropped already, so that's great. That's great news for the new Blue Party. And it's good.
Yeah, if they don't have, if you go out there and you look and you don't see a party that has anything, and you have nobody to vote for, you either have an obligation to find somebody, but your second obligation, if there is nobody, your obligation is to stand up and take the place. It's not that's what freedom fighters do.
Yeah. But like Bonnie Crombie, if they're offering you to double your money or trying to legalize marijuana, just look at it for what it is. Because if they really believed in these things, this would be happening already. They're in office. Well, actually not Bonnie, but you know what I mean? If they're going to make these promises, they should have done them while they were in office, not promising it because of an election.
Idle promises.
Yeah.
And everybody's got to remember, they don't have money. The money that they promise you has to come from you.
Yeah. So they're taking it out of your left pocket and putting it in your right pocket.
You're getting money from them. If you're getting something like that from them, just remember, you're not.
Don't fall for it, folks. It is a scam. They're trying to buy you. And we can't let that happen anymore. We're running out of time. We've got 2030. They're basically their deadline for complete world totalitarian control. And so we have a window of opportunity to protect our friends and our neighbors. And that's why voting is so important right now. And everyone in Niagara Falls, this is our man right here, Gary Dumelie. Thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate having a frank, relaxed conversation and let people know who you are in Niagara Falls in your riding. Now, does that cover Fort Erie? And
yes,
how big is the riding? Does it?
Fort Erie, Niagara on the Lake, and Niagara Falls. That's
Well, I
why I
want to
run in
thank
here, because I'm in Fort Erie.
I want to thank you for putting your life on the line for this very important cause. I know you're not doing it for prestige or money or financial gain. You're doing it because you care about your fellow man, and that's why you're on this show, because I care about my fellow man too. And we've already met, but you probably heard me play piano at Peter's, but
Oh, yeah.
now you know.
I know you quite well.
And I played in 432 hertz, so I was healing you. I was healing you subliminally.
Hey, maybe you were convincing me to get in here and do some work. I don't know.
I would never plan to host a podcast. It's just like hosting podcast season. And started about a year ago, and someone believed in me, and here I am. And it's not about me at all. It's really about the topic and the person and the guest. But when I run out of things that are important, then the show will end. Because it's not about me promoting myself. But I hope you get the seat, Gary, and I want to thank you for coming on. If we have a round table, I would love if you would come. With Rob Atticus and Adelic, sorry, and Brent Fellman, and hopefully I'll get Jim on here too, and we'll have a round table and a discussion like this about policy, and hopefully we can do that.
Well, it sounds good, and I appreciate
come
it.
back?
Thank you.
Would you be willing to do another show?
Oh, yes.
Thank you, Gary. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone at home, for commenting and participating in the chat. I do appreciate you. Thank you, Cleo. I have to get you on as soon as possible as well, and we'll arrange that. But I look forward to having you back on the round table, and I wish you a good night and all the best at the polls in the election. And I want to be able to call you an MPP when this is done. So thank you all.
Yes, thank you
for coming
very
to the truth table. Let me just get this off here. It's been a pleasure, folks. Tomorrow night, Mama Bear's Project, also friends of ours, and I look forward to doing that show. We'll see you all then.